Hey,
Hey, how are you?
hey.
Hi.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
pretty
thanks.
good.
I'm fine.
All right. All right.
All right. So, how should we start this session here?
Okay.
I'm happy to do whatever, so you guys decide and I'll answer any questions.
All right. So, welcome to the Life Untold podcast. I'm Steven, and it's Jerrell, Rosie, and Chloe Chong. Um, okay. First question. This is more of an introductory question. Can you share a bit of your journey into motorsports and how you got involved into like more of F1 Academy and the current British league that you're in right now?
Yeah, so my first interest from most sports came, I think, quite early in life. I remember watching TV actually with my dad, and we were watching F1, and yeah, it just became very interesting. As the more I learned about it, more I learned about the strategy, about the drivers, especially Lewis Hamilton. I got really passionate about it, and yeah, that's where I started. So I started in little go karts when I was 6 years old, and I kind of went from there. After that, I progressed to like national championships and then European championships for a couple races. But always budget was a bit of an issue to go to those big races. Like it would be a big chunk out of our yearly budget to go to those races. So we weren't able to do that much in karting. But soon the opportunity came around to enter into the FIA Girls on Track. And yeah, we got to the finals, which was a great surprise. We worked really hard for it. So to see it all pay off on track and to be one of the quickest out there was quite fulfilling. And last year, as you guys probably saw, F1 Academy and now British F4.
Next question. What challenges have you faced as a female racer in a male-dominated sport like Formula One?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge, honestly, right now is getting financial sponsorship. As you see, like Formula One is quite a male-dominated sport, and therefore a lot of male-oriented brands are interested. But as a female, I think a lot of um, I'd say female orientated brands are more, um, I guess, tentative to enter into that sort of world, and it makes it harder for girls coming up the junior formulae to obtain that funding. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge. Physically, obviously, we have to work a bit harder because it is harder for women to grow muscle. But once we're, I guess, at a level, we can compete at the same level. So I think physically, yes, it's harder for a female to become as strong as they need to be. But once they are, we can sustain the same level of performance as guys. So I think that's pretty good. And yeah, I think those are the main two challenges. I think also another thing that F1's mentioned is that there's not many girls in the sport. It's about bringing girls into the sport as well. So it's a mixture of all three of those factors. But I think the main thing is sponsorship and getting, I guess, more female brands on board and being interested in sponsoring young up and coming female talents.
Can you highlight some of your proudest achievements or memorable moments in your racing career so far?
I think definitely the proudest two moments in my racing career was the first one, obviously, is Austin Grand Prix in the US. That was an absolutely amazing feeling, racing against some amazing girls, and as well as being on the F1 stage. I think it's an unforgettable experience so far in my career. Also, the results and starting on the front row, that was really exciting. And yeah, I think about it every day, to be honest. But yeah, I think the thing that's kicked it all off and the thing that I'll forever be thankful for is the Ferrari Girls on Track competition and going to Maranello for the FDA scouting camp. Driving on that track, I'd never imagined to do that, and yeah, the feeling was incredible, and to meet so many people and to wear the Ferrari red was something that I'll never forget.
All right. So, how does your training routine differ from other male counterparts?
I wouldn't say that my training routine differs from a lot of male counterparts. Actually, talking to some of the boys racing in British F4 this year, we're doing a lot of sim work. I mean, yeah, we hop on the sim together sometimes. I like to put in a lot of laps, do some races online. I'm in the gym quite a bit, but again, I think male counterparts, they'll do the exact same thing. For me, like when I'm in the car or I'm racing, I know that I'm, going to be racing against guys the whole time. So it doesn't change my training routine. In fact, it probably just makes me work even harder.
All right. So can you discuss the physical and mental aspects of preparing for a race in such a demanding sport?
Yeah, so I think I'll take you through like kind of how I went to Austin, because I think that's very representative of something that I'll keep doing this year. Obviously, as I've been saying, like the sim and the physical training prep is really important. And I think before every race, it's also nice to like, sit down and kind of set out some goals for that weekend. Where you think you're going to be strong, where you can improve, and your focus points. So we normally do that, and then I think on the way to Austin, we thought about dealing with jet lag, and so we did that. And yeah, when we got there, it was just about relaxing a bit, not getting overly focused, but just preparing yourselves and knowing that it's going to be a very mentally tolling weekend, and getting ready for it.
So, how did you choose the brand deals like you selected ACTIPH water?
Yeah, I think it was quite a natural brand deal with us. Like, um, they contacted us, I think, early last year. They were quite interested in the fact of getting females involved with sports, and yeah, it kind of went from there. I think the water is really great. I tried it for the first time. I was like, really, like it's just water, right? But I tried it, and yeah, it tastes pretty nice. Like I've actually got some right here. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's very crisp, and it's just a clean taste. Like you don't even need to refrigerate it. So yeah, I think after that we kind of bonded and meshed quite well together, and it went from there.
How do you hope to inspire the next generation of female racers?
That's a good question, because I think there's a lot of ways you can do it. I've tried a few ways, and I think for my career, one of my main goals is definitely to get more females into the sport. I think it's part, I feel like it's kind of a responsibility of me, like as the youngest driver in F1 Academy, is just to, support the girls on karting, and show them that, this is where I am and they can literally be there the next year. So the way that I like to say it is that if someone texts me on Instagram, asks about, certain ways to start in racing, then I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible. Depending on the region where they live and all of that, I think I'll always be there to help through DMs as much as I can. Obviously, it's very hard to go through all of them, and then I try to do as many like brand events as I can. So I went to the Girls on Track Team Sport Day, and we did the introduction there. I think that was quite cool. So I'm always open to doing whatever I can to get more females into the sport, and I'm really proud of what we've achieved so far.
How do you find the dynamics within your team?
I mean, last year our dynamic was amazing. It was so funny. Me, Bianca, and Marta, we really had a lot of fun, not only as teammates but as friends. We basically lived together the whole year, so it was a lot of fun moments. Sometimes we dealt with some hard moments as well together, but overall it was the best year I could have asked for in terms of teammates, and having people that I can laugh, cry, and work with. So really grateful for those ones. And then this year, I know my teammates, but there's only one that's been announced, and Leo's great. I'm excited to work with him this year. He's done really well in karting, so hopefully we'll have some good times this year, and see a lot of success.
Can you describe the collaboration and support you receive from your team?
Yeah, so from Prema, I had a great year. They're a great team. A lot of learning to do, especially my first year. And it was quite difficult because we had such little time to do it. I think we had 3 like out of season test days and then straight into the season. So really happy with how I adapted, considering how there was like not so much time, and the team were really great to try to help me and all of that. But I think this year I'm super excited to work with JHR. I've known them since 2022, from Girls on Track. My first time in a race car was with them. So I've known them for quite long. Stephen, the team manager's great, really enthusiastic, and they really love the sport. So can't wait to get stuck in and learn a lot from them, because I think this year's the year to make some big leaps and bounds, hopefully towards 2025, which will be exciting.
What is your favorite part of the technical side of racing?
I'd say the technical side of racing, my favorite part is, I'd say, overtaking. I think overtaking is always, a nice bit about racing. It's what, pushes you to keep improving. It's ultimately what decides, how well you're doing in terms of like a timesheet sort of thing. I also think, putting in some consistent fast laps and being in that flow state is really rewarding. So I think technically you can't say, there's like one thing like braking or throttle or, short, what's called low speed corners or high speed corners. I think all of it put together, and when you're, know that you're performing at your best, it always feels great.
How involved are you in the development and feedback for your car?
I'd say that last year was a bit more difficult because I was still learning how the car works, and with F1 Academy it's quite difficult to change much in the car. But this year I'm really excited to see how my feedback works and how accurately I can detect different changes in the car, because that's always fun to do. Learn with the team, learn about how the car and the engineering stuff works, and build a better knowledge so that when I go into 2025 I'm like on it straight away.
What are your long-term goals into motorsports, and how do you see the future of female racers in Formula One?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think my long-term goal is definitely Formula One. I don't like to set a formal, one singular goal, but it'd be Formula One or a professional sort of racing, so that I can, have a career out of it. Of course, racing is a lot of sacrifice, especially for my family who've put so much work into it, work, time, sometimes financial backing. It's so hard. This year it's been very hard to put together the funding. But we're always looking out for sponsorship, and my dad does a really good job of trying to help me and help find it for us, because that's probably the number one thing that's holding me back. But I think it's been a hell of a ride so far, and I'm looking forward to see what we can do next.
Are there any specific tracks or races that you dream of competing in?
I would say definitely Monaco. I think that's the one, F1 track that kind of I can see in my mind I really want to race in. I also want to go to Singapore. I think that's a really special track, and it's really technical. And apart from that, I think I'm trying to think of different tracks. I would just say Monaco and Singapore are the ones, and actually Macau as well. I think that's also a special street circuit. So those three are probably on my bucket list for hopefully the next years to come.
Was there any benefit switching from the F1A to British F4?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. A lot of people ask me that. I think, it was a lot of decision making to make at that time of the year. Obviously, funding is the biggest thing. There's a lot of girls this year in F1 Academy that are doing, both a normal championship and an F1 Academy campaign. It wasn't possible for me from a funding perspective. So what we decided to do is, we kind of looked into which gives me the most benefit in the long run, and we thought about it. And doing the British F4 campaign, offers us a lot more track time than F1 Academy could. And I think the goal is always to be back. So maybe in 2025 you'll see me again, hopefully with an F1 team or a sponsored seat. And I'll be really excited to give it my all and hopefully go for the championship then.
How do you think the racing community can encourage more diversity and inclusion?
I think we've made some leaps and bounds over these past years. I think if you asked me like 5 years ago, I would have had a long list. But actually right now, I think we've made a really good start. F1 Academy is a really crucial step, I think, in that process. I think what Lewis Hamilton is doing as well is great. He's probably been the number one spokesperson for diversity in the sport. So that's really, really nice. But I think with F1 Academy, with what Lewis is doing and what the FIA has seen, like the benefits of having women in sport, I think moving forward in these coming years, it's going to be like a massive, massive step forward.
What advice do you have for aspiring female racers who might be hesitant to pursue a career in motorsport?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be anything holding you back. The number one thing that I would like look at is, is this what I want to do? It's going to be a lot of hard work, but is this exactly what I want to do? And if the answer is yes, you know exactly what to work for. Just don't like undersell yourself. I think it's always, important to have give yourself a value of how you work, and just keep going for what you're doing. You'll keep improving every day. Sometimes you won't even see, change and progress, but all the time, small marginal gains will lead to success. And I think it's the most important thing is to keep going and keep your head held high.
I'm pretty sure these two have already been answered, but I'll just ask it again. So, can you share a favorite moment or race in your career that stands out?
The race that stands out in my career is COTA 2023 last year with the F1 Grand Prix. Race 2, probably, because I was starting in the front row. And yeah, that was a great race. I still hold a grudge against the fact that I didn't finish in fourth. I was in fourth until the second last lap, and I made a little mistake by running onto some of the dirty parts of the track. And yeah, it meant that I lost those 2 places. But I think P4 would have been great. And yeah, I'll keep thinking about that moment forever. But honestly, every race comes on and you can always improve from it.
Is there a specific track or location that you enjoy racing on the most?
The track that I enjoy racing at is probably Rebel Ring or again COTA. Rebel Ring was a really fun track. I would say to race at, but I love driving it. And I think for a race, you have like one track that you love driving on and one track that you love racing on. So COTA for the one that's racing, and then Red Bull Ring for driving and flow. I really enjoy that track, and I love Austria, so it was just a natural, cool thing to be driving and seeing the mountains as you're driving down the straight.
How do you engage with your fans, especially considering the growing popularity of Formula One globally?
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 social media accounts, and I try to keep in touch with my fans as much as possible. You guys mean a lot to me, and I think you're the number one people driving me forward. So it's great to have you by my side. I try to share as much of my life as I can with you guys, but I think obviously the number one's priority is racing. So I've always got my head down when I'm at the track.
Is there any memorable interactions with fans that you would like to share?
I remember being at Barcelona, and someone came for me with a poster, and it was amazing because they surprised me as I came out of lunch. And I think that's probably the one moment that I won't forget, because it was one of the first times I'd ever met a fan. Starting this year, I think I had like 2,000 followers, so it was a big change in lifestyle from the beginning to the end of this year. Especially on the social media side of things. But yeah, it's great to have so many people supporting, and I'm forever thankful and grateful to have you guys.
Will we see any races with fans in terms of online or local karting?
Sorry, do you think you could repeat the question? I didn't quite hear it properly.
Will we see any races with fans in terms of online or local karting?
Yeah, I think hopefully this year, we'll see it. We'll try to make some stuff happen. A lot of people are asking for what's it called? Asking to do like meet and greets and stuff and signing. So maybe we can try to make something happen. I know F1, the F1 Drive sort of thing, casting venue has opened up. So maybe we can try to organise something once I have some time this year, because it's been very, very hectic the start of the year, and with the season coming, it's been quite hectic.
So we have some fan questions that we got from your Discord and some on IG as well. So the first one is, how did it feel sitting in a single-seater Formula car for the first time?
It was amazing. I mean, I was so scared coming out those pits. So scared that I was going to spin it, because the car had a lot more torque than I was used to before. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling. It feels like you're in your zone. You're kind of you're not out of it, but you feel quite free inside, and you're able to do what you love. So yeah, it's a moment I'll never forget.
Do you think motorsports should be more accessible to people who may not have the money to pay for karting or etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult now to, progress in motorsports, especially when a lot of the F1 teams that are sponsoring drivers often get the guys from, or guys and girls from, the OK series of karting in Italy. I never had the chance to do that because it was just too expensive for me. I think like a race there costs £10,000 each race, and that's not something that me or my parents or my family could, ever cover. So we kind of stuck to the UK, but none of the F1 teams really look there unless you're doing something really special. So it was very difficult to progress from that point. But I think F1 Academy came in at the right time. But I definitely think for some talented guy racers in the UK and even some females, it's so difficult to be spotted, especially when you're not paying to race in Italy.
What is your favorite flavor of crisps?
I would say prawn cocktail or sweet chili.
All right. So next, what is your favorite main course of all time?
Main course. I like Japanese food, so you can say like blanket Japanese food.
What are the tracks that you are specifically looking forward to driving in the future?
I'm really looking forward to driving at Silverstone, definitely this year, and hopefully some of the street tracks that I get the chance to in 2025.
Do you think there should be lower only female karting divisions?
I think it's not right to keep girls segregated from guys for the whole of racing. I think F1 Academy is a good step forward because it gives good opportunity for females to enter into the world of motorsport. But overall, if you're going to make it to F1, you're going to be racing against the guys, and I think it's important to know that learn how to race against different people and be able to work your way up, because I think if you're progressing, let's say from karting to an F2 car as a female racing against just females, you're not going to be able to have that experience racing against different people. I would say that guys are overall more aggressive. You get a lot of females that are aggressive, but guys definitely race in many different ways, whilst females race in other different ways. So I think it's not right to keep the whole progression ladder segregated. So I would say no. I think in karting I'd keep it guys and girls together because it's the best way to learn.
Do you think rentals will be good for beginning karters?
Yeah, I mean, I started on rental karting. I started when I was 6 years old at Buttermore Park, and yeah, I was in rental karts for 3 or 4 years. I think it's the best way to learn. The fundamentals of racing, overtaking, defending, you can all do in rental karts. I think once you're confident in that and you're ready to step up, then you'll know. But it's not essential to start in your own kart, because I know it takes a lot of funding to buy your own go-kart.
Yep, I think that's all we have for you.
Okay, great.
So,
All right. So on behalf of all of us, we would like to wish you a happy Lunar New Year.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you. Yeah. Happy New Year and Happy Year of the Dragon. Yeah.
we hope to see you soon, and good luck with the new season coming around.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Good,
time. And yeah, really happy to answer all your questions.
Yep.
good luck. Good luck. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Bye. All right, guys.
Yes.
Okay. That's all right.
Yep. I'm
Oh yeah,
gonna.
we should have asked, what does she think about Lewis joining Ferrari?
Oh, we should ask. What?
Ah,
No, you should.
for
You
you,
should.
for you.
You should ask
Great
that.
question, Macy. But I think you're too late.
Oh my gosh, you should ask that.
I mean, that was like Lola in the service. She wanted me to ask if she wanted to go on the I'm a Celeb, but I wasn't gonna ask that.
Oh, okay.